had a gun. She didn't have a gun. You're standing in your driveway. She's over here at the neighbor's trying to get help, and you shot her. Is that self-defense?
Where was she at?
So if you fired a warning shot, like go away in your driveway, and she did go away, she's over here. So then why did you shoot at her again? It's the second shot.
Because she never goes away, sir.
You shot the gun at her to make her know that you were serious? To let her know that you were serious?
Yes.
Though her brutality shocked the detectives on that particular day, but the pertinent question before us is who this demonic wife is and what happened on that day. Thanks to the law enforcement agency for providing us the footage of this case, and this is the first time you will watch extensive interrogation of this case. Welcome back to my channel. Your review about my video means a lot to me. The 911 call came in on the night of September 2nd, 2019, as a tense, storm-heavy evening hung over Jacksonville, Florida, with Hurricane Dorian preparations already putting the city on edge. A woman called begging for help.
Jacksonville 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Yes, I'm sorry. I know it's a bad night, but my wife, she cut me and ran out into the neighborhood. And
what's your address, ma'am?
And after a few minutes, the neighbor calls, but this time a lot had happened.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yes, there's a gunshot outside my house.
What's your address?
And someone banged on my door.
All right, and do you think that person that's begging is shot?
I don't know. I have two small kids. We didn't open the door.
Okay, it's okay. Don't open the door if you don't feel safe. Okay?
Don't open the door, babe.
Okay, what is it? Do you hear any crying or screaming or anything?
No.
Okay, can you...
We heard a bang at our door.
Okay, like a bang as in the gunshot hit your door, or is there's a person banging on your door?
There was a person banging on our door.
Okay, and can you yell through the door? Can you ask him what he needs?
They're not there anymore.
Okay, what is your last name? And what's your phone number, ma'am, in case we get disconnected?
Neighbors reported a terrifying scene. Amanda Butler was chasing her wife, Christy, and firing a handgun at her outside their home. By the time police arrived, what had started as hurricane prep had turned into a violent domestic shooting. According to the neighbors, Amanda armed herself with a Glock handgun during the confrontation. Christy then fled toward a neighbor's house, trying to get help. But instead of the danger ending there, Amanda fired again. One bullet grazed Christy in the hip. Another tore through the front door of a neighboring occupied home, passing through the living room and all the way through the house, putting an entire family in danger. So Amanda was brought in for questioning, and today we will focus on the psychological aspects of this case.
Hey, Amanda. Hey, I'm Detective Barnhart, like I said a minute ago. Okay, this is Sergeant Goldfine. Alright, we just want to kind of go over everything and explain to you what's going on, what happened tonight, let you tell us about what you know, okay? Before we get going, ask you any questions.
Side of the story matters.
Well, we're going to try to get it anyway. I mean, we want to hear what you have to say. Before we do that, though, I just want to make sure I have the correct information for you. I have Amanda Beth Butler, 7585. Is that you? Is that you? Okay. And 7585 is your correct date of birth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Listen, before we go too far into things, start talking and asking questions, okay? I want to go over your constitutional rights with you. That's something we have to do with everyone, whether they're under arrest or not. When we bring somebody in to interview them about an incident that occurred, we go over the rights, okay?
I understand.
Okay. Another thing I do with everybody is just to confirm that you do read and write, okay? Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol right now?
I had a Bloody Mary about 4 hours ago, but I was sweating that out when I was...
Okay. Do you feel like it's anything that should affect your ability to talk or communicate? Or?
No, sir. Okay. I'm just tired as heck from hurricane prep. I'm sorry.
I understand that. What's the highest level of school you've completed?
I have an MBA and MA, and
So safe to say you read and write very well then.
I was a professor for a couple of years.
Okay. What's the first line right there say?
You have the following rights under the United States Constitution.
Right. And I'm going to go over the rest of them. All right, you can follow with me. You do not have to make a statement or say anything, okay? Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before you make a statement or before any questions are asked of you, and to have the lawyer with you during any questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. If you do answer questions, you have the right to stop answering questions at any time and consult with a lawyer. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
At the beginning of the interrogation, Detective Barnhart uses a calm, administrative tone, confirming Amanda's identity, education, sobriety, and understanding of her rights before moving into the substance of the case. This is not just legal routine. It is also psychological groundwork. By starting with neutral, easy-to-answer questions, he establishes Amanda's verbal rhythm, confidence level, and presentation style. The tactic reflects baseline behavior analysis, a common interviewing principle in which investigators first observe a subject under low-stress conditions before evaluating changes under pressure.
All right, Amanda, tell us what happened tonight. How do we get to where we are now? It's obviously been a long night, so just kind of in your own words, run me through everything that's happened, how we got to this point.
Would be great if I could lay down for a couple hours before we get here, but
Well, we can't do that. We're here now, okay?
no, it started at 5 a.m.
It started at 5 a.m.? Okay.
Yes,
So,
literally.
so like 24 hours ago, 5 a.m.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the whole premise for the day was we got to do hurricane prep, obviously, and I asked her everything that I needed to do, and she,
You say she, who are you referring to?
Christy,
Okay.
she just kept saying, well, I'm sick, and I've been the Floridian, and you're Mississippi native, and the eye had turned, I gotta take a nap, blah, 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 and
So,
then she
okay.
just
So you felt like
started
she
screaming.
was basically minimizing the whole hurricane situation that upset you? Like she wasn't taking it serious?
I mean, she was blowing it out of proportion a few days ago, and
Okay.
I'm from Mississippi, so I don't know hurricanes, so I was just following up with what her mom said that we needed to do, and
Okay.
she kept rolling over and going back to sleep until about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then popped up panicking about things that were not done, and I was doing the best that I could do, and this has been the worst mistake of my life. I mean,
What's that?
this relationship, I've always been an academic, a hard worker, and
Once the formalities are over, the detective invites Amanda to run me through everything in her own words. This gives her the illusion of control while actually placing a heavy cognitive burden on her. Instead of answering narrow questions, she has to construct a coherent narrative over many hours of emotionally charged events. Suspects often welcome this at first because it feels like an opportunity to explain themselves. But the longer they talk, the more opportunities they create for contradiction, omission, and implausibility. This tactic aligns with cognitive load theory, which suggests that deceptive storytelling is mentally demanding because the speaker must simultaneously recall, invent, edit, and monitor a version of events.
there's a lot of differences. I mean,
I understand, but talk about how do we get to where police and ambulances got called out tonight? What led up to that? How did we get there?
She said she woke up about 4 p.m.
yeah, I mean, yeah, she lays in bed all day.
Okay.
And
So that upsets you? I mean, is that kind of
Well,
was that kind of the cause of an issue? Or?
I've been in cybersecurity for about 5 years now. Unfortunately, I was laid off about 3 months ago, but I just accepted a new position this morning that after this, I'm sure I won't get.
Well, why do you say that? That's what we're asking you.
I work 17, 18-hour days in my field. And it's hard for me to have to pay all of the bills and then come home and do everything at the house and take care of the dogs. And
all right. So did you guys have an argument then when she woke up at 4 p.m.? How were you towards her when she woke up?
We're at the point where we don't speak. I can't say, okay, how was your day?
Has this been an ongoing thing?
Yes, it's been going on for months, and I asked for a divorce in February, and she.
But something happened today between you. Y'all spoke at some point. You had to speak because something happened. Okay, a lot happened.
We did. She at 4 finally. Her mom called and. Yesterday, she said, we need to get up, and if the eye didn't turn by 5, 6 this morning, we needed to get the girls in and board up and get out. And I kept addressing her, and she just kept saying, I'm sick, I don't feel good, I've got this rash all over my body, and kept trying to say that my job or lack thereof at the moment.
Amanda repeatedly tries to broaden the frame, discussing months of relationship problems, job stress, household burdens, and Christy's behavior over time. The detective allows some of that because it reveals motive and emotional climate, but he repeatedly narrows her back to a single critical window: what happened between Christy waking up and police arriving. This tactic reflects temporal constriction in investigative interviewing, where reducing the narrative to a specific sequence weakens evasive storytelling and forces detail-based accountability.
The heavy argument really started with, I don't know, probably 7:30 when she started grilling in on, you're a deadbeat, you're blah, 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 and I've been the one making 150 plus K a year and paying all of the bills, and she wants a maid, I get her a maid. She wants a yard guy, but yeah, she started arguing over the garbage disposal breaking. And
right, we know y'all had an argument. What happened? When did the argument escalate? It escalated at some point. All right, obviously. You can look at you, and you can look at her, and it's obvious that it got way beyond an argument. So that's what we're trying to get you to talk about. What happened? How that happened? And what happened?
She got in my face when I was trying to unload the dishwasher, and then she went into the bedroom, and I just said, if you're going to argue all night, then go into the other bedroom. And, we had all of our, I'm sure you saw, our lighters and knives and candles and everything, categorized on the counter. And she said, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to keep talking. And I said, you've been saying that for 1.5 years, and I've been trying to get out of this for 1.5 years. And
the detective does not rush to accuse Amanda immediately. Instead, he asks the same issue in slightly different ways. When did the argument escalate? When was the gun pulled? Where was Christy? When was Amanda afraid? When was the knife involved? Each answer Amanda gives becomes a commitment. Once she adopts a version of events, the detective can revisit it and compare it against later statements. The tactic draws on the commitment and consistency principle from Cialdini's persuasion framework. Once people publicly commit to a claim, they feel pressure to remain consistent, even when that consistency begins to trap them.
When did you pull a gun out tonight? Did you hold a gun? Did you use a gun at all tonight?
I pulled a gun and told her to get the hell out of my house.
Okay. At what point did you do that in the argument? Before or after she went to separate bedrooms?
After she kind of went nuts here.
Okay. Which gun did you pull
out? The Glock.
Okay. Black Glock? Okay. Did you ever point it at her? Did you just show it to her? I mean, what happened with the gun?
I had it in the small of my bag.
Okay. Why would you open the front door to shoot the warning shot?
To try to get her out of the house that I've been paying for 2 years that she hasn't contributed a dime on, and I just get yelled at every day.
Okay, but if you went outside the front door to try to get her out of the house and to fire a warning shot, then you could have left, right? Because you already said you went out the front door, you opened the front door, so you could have just left. I mean, if you felt like your life...
It doesn't work that way.
Well, I'm saying if you felt like your life, you were in fear for your life, you said you went outside the door, you had a gun on you. Okay, I think there might be some truth in what you're saying, but you're trying to give me a different version of the story than I already know happened. Okay, Amanda, you got to be straight with me. Okay, you're a smart person. I can tell that. I saw the degrees in your house. I saw your MBA. And I saw your other master's degree. You're smart. Okay, so you know that what you're saying doesn't add up.
I don't have anything to hide.
Well, I understand that, but you said you opened the front door to fire a warning shot, okay? There was a casing in your driveway, not outside the front door, okay? And then there's another casing. Explain to me how a bullet hole got in your neighbor's front door.
Because we ended up running across the driveway almost over into the neighbor's yard.
Okay, but if you're running outside the house, then you could have run away from her. So did you shoot at her outside? I mean, how are you shooting into the neighbor's house if you're running down the street like they're running away?
A major turning point comes when the detective stops treating Amanda's story as a standalone account and starts testing it against physical facts. Shell casings, the location of the driveway, the distance between the houses, and the bullet hole through the neighbor's front door. This is psychologically powerful because it shifts the interrogation from emotional storytelling to spatial reality. Amanda can describe fear and chaos in broad terms, but physical evidence does not bend to narrative preference. This tactic reflects reality monitoring theory, which distinguishes between internally generated accounts and externally verifiable experience. Fabricated or distorted accounts tend to become unstable when checked against concrete sensory and spatial evidence.
You would have had to shoot at her while she's running towards the neighbor's door. I mean, the bullet went all the way through their front door. Did you ever shoot at her? I mean, was she shooting at you? You got to help me understand what happened. I'm asking these questions because I don't know.
So, out of the front door, she's still yelling and screaming and doing her number. And here's my driveway. So, I mean, you've got about 6 feet. And then there's maybe a 12-foot gap of grass.
Between the two houses?
Yeah, between the two houses. And she's still in attack mode. And
Okay, so this is your house. You just said over here. This is a neighbor's house, and you said 12 foot of grass right here.
Yes.
If she's over here and you're way over here, why are you shooting at her? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
Because she's threatening my life, my safety, my family.
Can I ask how many phones do you guys have in the house? Do you think overall between you and her?
3.
3. At what point did
I called when I got back inside and my blood started bleeding really bad.
Right, but when she was outside and you opened the door and shot outside, do you think that you could?
Not safely without being more injured.
But she was outside though, right? You had to open the door, right? Was she outside?
Well, there wasn't a point where she wasn't with me or we weren't in the middle of this fight. So.
Okay. But when she was yelling and screaming outside, you think you could have stopped and called 911?
Well, I was outside too, and I've had to call 911 before, and it took 42 minutes for somebody to show up, so...
The detective repeatedly highlights alternatives Amanda could have taken. If she opened the front door, why not leave? If Christy was at the neighbor's house, why shoot? If Amanda had enough separation, why not call 911? These questions are psychologically sharp because they do not just ask what happened. They expose points where Amanda had safer choices. This tactic is connected to rational choice theory, which holds that behavior can be examined through available options and perceived consequences. By highlighting alternative actions, the detective undermines Amanda's attempt to present the shooting as necessary.
I mean...
But so you didn't call... You went back into the house at the end?
Yes. Okay. So what can I do to try to explain this? I've never done this before.
Well, Amanda, here's what I'm asking you, okay? Your house is over here, like you just said. And you said there's about 12 foot of grass. I don't know, but that's what you said, between your house and your neighbor's house, okay? You said Christy's over here at your neighbor's house. You're over here at your house. Why did you shoot at her if she's all the way over there? Why did you shoot at her? And how did a bullet get through the neighbor's front door?
Through the front door? Honestly, I have no damn clue.
Okay. Did you shoot a gun at Christy?
Yes.
Okay. How many times did you shoot the gun?
I fired a warning shot.
Okay.
And I fired a second shot.
When you say you fired a warning shot, what does that mean? Like you fired up into the air? You fired out down at her feet? Like what do you mean?
No, like up in the air.
Okay.
Like
where was that when you shot that one? Where were you?
I mean, that was the casing that you guys should have found.
In the
it
driveway?
should have been the left of the driveway.
Was that the first one that you fired?
Yes.
Okay, so if you fired a warning shot, like go away in your driveway, and then she did go away, she's over here, so then why did you shoot at her again? The second shot. Why did you shoot again? The second shot.
Because she never goes away, sir.
Oh, you just said she was standing over here at the neighbor's house, though.
Yeah, she was standing over there at the neighbor's house, but she doesn't back down until you hunker down into a hole and say that you've committed 100,000 sins and you're all wrong.
Amanda, why did she run to several neighbors' houses asking for help?
Because I'm hoping she understood after the second shot that I was serious, and then I went back inside and called 911.
So you shot the gun at her to make her know that you were serious? To let her know that you were serious?
Yes.
Okay.
Rather than demanding a full confession all at once, the detective works in stages. First, he gets Amanda to admit she pulled the gun. Then he gets her to acknowledge she fired it. Then he pushes her to distinguish between a warning shot and a second shot. Then he asks whether that second shot was aimed at Christy. Each concession is small enough to seem survivable, but together they dismantle her defensive posture. The tactic reflects the foot-in-the-door effect, where compliance with a small admission increases the likelihood of larger admissions later because the psychological barrier has already been lowered.
Then why didn't you call 911 when she was running down the street at the neighbors' houses? Why didn't you call 911 if you still felt like she was a threat?
I didn't have my phone on me. I have two cell phones.
Okay.
And I was charging both of them for the storm. So my iPhone and my Android were both in my bedroom. I had to go back into the house to get a phone to call for help.
Did Christy ever threaten to leave tonight, like pack her stuff and go somewhere else?
I asked her to leave. I have been asking her on and off since February to leave.
Okay. Was she going to do that? Tonight, was she going to leave?
She says that, and then, we'll talk it out.
Was she texting with somebody or calling anybody to make arrangements to leave?
Oh, always. She's always texting someone and hanging that over my head. I mean, she's got a friend named Amy. She's got...
Did you ever use her phone? Did you ever send messages from Christy's phone to anyone else tonight?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Who did you text?
I don't even know. I just asked to see her phone and she said, we're talking through it. And I said, she's fine. Let's figure this out. She's good to go.
You were saying that to Christy's friend?
Yes.
Do you know her name?
I'm assuming it would be Amy or Brooke. Those are generally the two people she talks to.
When did you send those texts from Christy's phone to those people? Before or after you shot at Christy?
Before.
Before?
But that was before all of this happened.
Okay, so you're saying that she cut you in the house with the pizza knife, right? But you didn't shoot at her then. And some of that's not from her. You said some of that's from getting ready for the storm and stuff.
Some of this is from the storm.
At several moments, the detective carefully places Amanda's own claims side by side so that the contradiction becomes hard to ignore. She says she feared for her life, yet describes Christy as physically separated from her. She says she fired only a warning shot, yet also admits a second shot. She says she was defending herself, yet cannot explain why the shot entered the neighbor's front door. Instead of loudly accusing her, he allows the contradiction to speak for itself. This tactic is rooted in cognitive dissonance theory. When a person holds inconsistent claims at once, the resulting psychological discomfort pushes them to revise, justify, or collapse parts of their account.
I mean, a lot of it's not, the direct gouges are still bleeding.
Don't move it. Leave them covered up. They're wrapped up. You're going to bleed. Just leave them covered.
I need stitches. That's
Amanda, look at me. Did you cut yourself? Or any of those from yourself doing that? With the pizza knife, did you get really upset maybe that you did something really bad that you shouldn't have done? You were super upset and maybe you freaked out a little bit?
No, but I ran into Hornet's Nest girls' offense.
You did what? Say that again?
Hornet's Nest fence grills. I'm moving
Amanda,
and patching all of these windows and stuff.
Amanda, you're smart, okay? I'm pretty smart too. I like to think I am anyway. And we both know when there's a lie being told. You're telling me a lie right now. Some of the stuff you're telling is a lie, okay? Be honest with me. Did you cut yourself with that pizza knife? Because you were scared and you were freaking out after you shot Christy.
I'm unemployed and I can't afford plastic surgery, so no.
Okay, so all those cuts came from Christy?
No, all of these cuts did not come from Christy.
Okay, but some of them came from Christy is what you're saying.
Some of them, and the bruising, I didn't do that. No. I mean, no.
Okay.
When the detective asks whether Amanda cut herself after the shooting, he is introducing the possibility that the visible injuries were not purely defensive wounds but part of a staged aftermath. This is a psychologically bold move because it attacks not just the act, but the narrative architecture around the act. If Amanda's injuries were self-inflicted or exaggerated after the fact, then the entire self-defense claim becomes suspect. This tactic reflects impression management theory, which examines how individuals try to control how others interpret events after misconduct. The detective is essentially probing whether Amanda constructed an outward appearance of victimhood to influence how the shooting would be perceived.
What about the shot through the neighbor's front door? You know your neighbor had 2 young kids in the house sleeping when that shot went through their front door.
No, I did not know.
Well, they did. Did you shoot at Christy while she was in front of their house?
With the adrenaline, it's possible, yes.
Okay. Which gun were you shooting at Christy?
The Glock.
Glock. Okay.
The one that I left on the counter for you guys after I called.
Did Christy have a gun when you were shooting at her?
Before the hurricane prep, I gave her the Beretta and the taser, so she was supposed to have this on her at all times.
But when you were standing at your house and she was standing in front of the neighbor's house, did you see her holding a gun when you shot at her?
No.
Okay. Did she threaten you with a gun?
In the house.
In the house.
But not outside of the house.
So she threatened you with a gun in the house, but she used a pizza knife to cut you up?
She threatened me with a gun in the master bedroom in the back of the house. And then I keep the Glock under my pillow.
Okay.
I put it in the small of my back and headed towards the kitchen.
Did you ever threaten to kill Christy tonight? Did you ever tell her you were going to kill her tonight?
No.
Okay, well, I'm asking the questions because I don't know.
That's the 10 Commandments, and sorry, I don't want to throw religion around, but I do try to follow those.
Another important tactic is that the detective does not begin by morally attacking Amanda as a killer. He lets her speak, listens to her complaints, and does not immediately shut down her emotional framing. This keeps her engaged, but gradually, he separates her personal grievances from the legal and factual questions that matter. That distinction is crucial. This prevents Amanda from turning emotional suffering into moral permission. The technique reflects neutralization theory in reverse. Suspects often use excuses like provocation, victim blaming, or emotional overload to neutralize guilt. The detective slowly strips those neutralizations away by acknowledging the suffering, but refusing to let it excuse the shooting.
All right, Amanda, here's the part I'm struggling with, okay? Help me. You're a smart person. You're educated, okay? Help me understand why you shot at her when you said you're in your house. There's 12 foot of grass. She's at the neighbor's house. You didn't see her holding a gun. She hadn't threatened you with a gun. You said she did that in the house, but now she's outside the house at least 12 feet away. By your own words, okay? Maybe more. Maybe a little less, but you said there's about 12 feet in between the houses, and you shot at her. What was in the background? What was behind her when you shot? When you shot at her, what was behind her?
All that I saw was her.
Okay, well, thinking back now, what would have, knowing your neighborhood and the street you live on, what would have been behind her when you shot at her?
I just remember her saying she's gonna run my new job and that her uncle has people in high places that can get rid of her problems, and I would never be able to separate myself from her family or her, and that she would hurt me.
Is that why you felt threatened by her? Because of those things?
When you're verbally abused for a couple of years and pushed around and banged up.
I understand that, but Amanda, listen, okay, you had a gun on you. You said you had a gun on you. You had the ability to open the door and fire a warning shot, you said. And then you had the ability to stand in your driveway and shoot at Christy while she's over here in front of the neighbor's house, okay? So didn't you have the ability at any point to leave or to call 911 maybe? Or you run down the street to a neighbor's house and ask for help like she did?
It's hurricane season. Everybody's evacuating. I mean, I'd rather go back and try to call you on 911 than go bang on doors and hope somebody's going to answer. I mean, that's just a common sense thing. If everybody's evacuating, why are you going to go knock on a bunch of doors and hope somebody's home?
Throughout the exchange, Amanda keeps trying to steer the interrogation toward her burdens. Money, unemployment, storm prep, Christy's laziness, the failing relationship, the dogs, the household chaos. Each time, the detective briefly acknowledges the point and then takes the conversation back to the shooting. This is more than conversational discipline. It is psychological dominance. He is controlling what counts as relevant reality inside the room. This tactic reflects conversational control theory, where the person who controls topic relevance and return points controls the interpretive framework of the interaction, and therefore the pressure on the suspect.
Did you ever fire another shot? You said you fired a warning shot, right?
I fired these shots.
Right. So when you shot not the warning shot, the shot that you fired at Christy, where were you when you shot that one?
I was about halfway between like my grass and my neighbor's grass.
So in between the two houses?
Yeah.
Okay, and you shot which direction? Like what was in the background? The house?
It would have been
street?
It would have been to the right.
Okay. Well, the shot went through the neighbor's front door. Okay. So you were shooting at Christy. You were shooting towards the house. Why did you shoot at Christy when she was in front of the neighbor's house? Do you know where we found the casing for the second shot? It was on the neighbor's front porch, which means you didn't shoot from over here. You shot Christy from in front of the neighbor's house.
I understand ballistics. I understand.
But what you're saying doesn't match up to the ballistics. If you're saying you understand it, then it doesn't match up, right?
I get that, but I never would have walked up to the front door of my neighbor's house and.
But the facts and evidence say that that's what happened. So did somebody else do it? That's what I'm asking.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying after you go through a hell of a fight.
Now the detective begins tightening the timeline with physical evidence. Amanda's version of events is no longer being heard at face value. It's being tested against shell casings, bullet paths, and where she was actually standing.
But now she's
like
over here. You said
bad karate tournament.
If you went through that fight, you said she's over here now at the neighbor's house, so you could have stayed home and called 911. Why did you shoot after her? Why did you go after her and shoot her? Why not call 911? Why not ask for help here? You didn't have to leave home. She left home. You said she left home and ran down the street. Because you said she was all the way over here at the neighbor's house. And you shot at the second shot at her.
I had to make her, and she likes to play this victim and woe is me, I'm disabled, blah, blah, blah. So am I.
This is a major shift in the interrogation. The detective stops debating emotion and starts focusing on movement. If Christy was already at the neighbor's house, then Amanda's self-defense story becomes much harder to justify.
When you shot at Christy, that second shot you fired, you said you shot at Christy. Thinking back, you cannot tell me what was behind her when you shot? You don't know? I mean, you're a gun person, you said, right? You know guns.
I am a gun person.
So you fired that gun. You know you're responsible for that shot. What was your backdrop? What was your backdrop when you shot Christy? What was behind you? What would the backstop have been like that? The background. What was it? A car? Was it a house? I mean, you think back to the angle, the position where you were when you shot, where she was. Can you see it now, thinking back?
I thought it was a black truck.
Okay.
I thought it was a black truck.
Do you think maybe you were standing next to the black truck and you shot? You were standing next to the black truck and maybe you shot Christy as she was in front of the house? That front door is a black. It's a dark colored door. Because I can tell you that you didn't fire that shot from your house. The first shot maybe. But the shot you fired at Christy, you weren't in front of your house because the casing was right on your neighbor's front porch. Does that sound more like what happened? I know it's stressful, but think. Does that sound more like what happened? Where were you when you shot Christy?
Wish he hit.
Well, we wouldn't be here, would we? We might not be going through all this if she hadn't been. I don't know. You tell me. You shot at her. You don't know if you hit her or not?
If I wanted to hit her, she would be in ICU.
Okay. Well, what about where that round went? What was behind Christy when you shot? That's what I'm asking you about right now. You can't tell me? You said you thought it was a black truck.
Yes.
Well, a black truck didn't get hit that we know of, so it wasn't that.
That's honestly the last thing that I remember seeing.
Notice how he keeps returning to one question. What was behind Christy when the shot was fired? That detail matters because responsible gun use requires awareness of what's beyond your target, especially in a neighborhood at night.
Do you feel like you needed to shoot Christy? Do you feel like that you were justified in shooting Christy? Do you feel like that you should have fired that second shot when she was over here? You do feel that way? Even though you didn't see her with a gun and she was leaving your house, getting away from you?
I wouldn't call it exactly leaving. I've been trying to do that, like I said, for months.
Well, how did she get over here to the neighbor's house? She left. She left your house. You said you were standing in the driveway, right?
I had to get her out.
You fired a warning shot. You wanted to get her out. You got her out. She left. She went to the neighbors. She went to different neighbors. She went to the neighbors right next to you, and then she went further down. She was leaving. She listened to your warning shot, and she was gone. So why did you shoot her?
When we left the front door of my house and I fired a warning shot, and I'm assuming that the shell casing probably ejected to the right 3-4 feet. She was still arguing and antagonizing, and I'm gonna have my cousin Billy in California deal with you, and my mama come get alimony, and
Okay.
she's still going on and on and on. And that's when I again said, I'm in fear for my life 3 times, and said, basically, just please.
What did she have in her hands? You said you're in fear for real. What did she have in her hands to make you fear for real?
at that point, she was just gonna try to beat me down, I guess, at that point. Or, I mean, the garage was open, so, I mean...
Amanda keeps describing Christy as verbally threatening, but the detective is separating emotional pressure from immediate physical danger. In self-defense cases, fear alone is not enough. The threat has to be immediate and proportionate.
She could have grabbed a shovel, she could have grabbed a crowbar, any.
But she didn't have anything in her hands at the time. That's just what you think that she was going to do. Is that correct? That's what you're saying.
Given her history, yes, sir.
Okay, but you had a gun, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you know how to use a gun, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So why would you be in more fear of her at that point if she's not armed and you are armed and she's fleeing from you? She's moving away from you.
Because she never flees.
Okay.
It sounds like you were pretty upset when all this was happening. And you were obviously upset.
She
pushed all the right buttons today? I mean...
No, she's been threatening me physically, emotionally, financially for months.
Well, why stay?
I filed papers in February. She won't sign them. I mean, you can log into my email right now.
Who's better off financially? Who has the better job and makes more money?
Me.
Okay. So,
I mean,
so why not go?
I've been trying. I was making $300K in cybersecurity. I mean, basically, it was a bot mitigation tool, so for like banks and...
I got you. No, I understand. That's what I'm saying. If you have a good job, you make the money. And she said she's a high school teacher. You have a really good job. You make a lot of money. You could have left. Just like tonight, you could have left. Do you understand?
At this point, the detective is forcing Amanda to confront the core contradiction. She had the gun, Christy did not, and Christy was moving away. That makes Amanda look less like someone escaping danger and more like someone escalating it.
Do you still think, or in your mind, Amanda, is it self-defense for you to shoot someone who's not armed, who's moving away from you? Do you call that self-defense? Do you believe that's self-defense? When you have the gun, she doesn't. She doesn't have a gun. You said she didn't have anything. Can we agree? Do you agree with me if I say that is not self-defense? Do you agree with that statement? Do you believe that it was self-defense?
I know how to answer the question, but I also know that I've been sleep deprived for a couple of days, and I don't know how I need to answer it.
You don't know how you need to answer it?
Yeah.
Just be honest and say what happened.
Well, if I'm like under oath or something and without...
Yeah, we're asking you to be honest. I don't want anything that's not the truth. We're not going through all this just to get a bunch of lies.
No, I'm not lying to you. That's why I'm...
Now he pushes her toward a legal conclusion without saying it outright. He wants Amanda to say, in her own words, whether this really was self-defense, because once she hesitates, the weakness in that claim becomes obvious.
I think that she's your wife. Y'all have a very vulnerable relationship. Things got really heated today, Amanda. You got really upset. Maybe she got really upset.
For a long time.
Y'all probably said some really nasty stuff to each other tonight. Things got a little bit out of control. I think you lost control a little bit You let your buttons get pushed a little too much.
We both lost control.
Maybe. But when it comes to the shooting aspect of it, I don't think you should have shot at her. I don't think it's self-defense. Do you agree with that or do you disagree? Do you think it's self-defense, what you just said? You had a gun. She didn't have a gun. You're standing in your driveway. She's over here at the neighbor's trying to get help, and you shot her. Is that self-defense?
Where was she hit?
She's fine. She's gonna survive. It's not life-threatening injury.
Well,
but you did hit her. You hit her.
Where was she hit?
She had a graze to the hip. But beyond that, when you shot her,
then
Amanda, that bullet you fired went into the neighbor's house.
No, I get that. I'm just saying if
you're responsible for that bullet though when you fire it in the front yard of a neighborhood like that.
The detective briefly softens his tone here, suggesting both of them lost control. That's a classic tactic. It offers Amanda a more human explanation for what happened, making it easier for her to admit anger instead of hiding behind justification.
Do you agree with what I just said where you were standing right in front of the neighbor's front door when you shot at Christy?
From a ballistics perspective, yes.
Okay, I'm not asking from a ballistics perspective. I'm asking from your perspective. Were you standing in front of the neighbor's house or front door when you shot Christy?
Did you take karate?
I never took karate now.
Okay. How I can describe tonight was like my first time stepping into the ring, where after the first punch is thrown, everything is a blur.
Okay.
And
do you remember going after Christy and shooting her? Do you remember coming from your house and running over to where she was and shooting her at the neighbor's house?
I remember the episode in the front yard.
Okay. But do you remember leaving your yard, going to the neighbor's house and shooting Christy while she's in the neighbor's yard, the neighbor's front porch?
I remember firing a second shot at what I thought was a black truck.
You fired the shot at the black truck or at Christy?
I would not hit Christy.
You already said earlier you were shooting at Christy.
Not to hit her.
Okay.
To get her
to scare her.
Actually leave.
Okay, but Amanda,
and not just.
Okay. But you fired a warning shot at your house
for a night and wake up and pretend like everything's fine.
But you fired a warning shot at your house. That's where the casing was in your driveway. You wanted her to leave. That was your warning shot, you said. She left because now she's over at the neighbor's house. So why would you fire another shot?
Because she's still ranting and raving and starts.
So if I'm ranting and raving at you from across the street, you think you can shoot me? But do you think you're justified to shoot me if I'm standing across the street ranting and raving and yelling and screaming at you? And I don't have anything in my hands. I'm not holding a gun, nothing. Do you call that, in your mind, is that self-defense? Is it self-defense to you?
Now, the pressure turns direct. He repeats the geography, the warning shot, the distance, and the fact that Christy was unarmed. Piece by piece, he's removing every part of Amanda's story that could still sound like self-defense.
She was bitching that I wasn't getting stuff done fast enough and that she had a fever and wasn't feeling well and couldn't be outside in the heat. And I sat down on the end of the bed to try to talk to her in the front bedroom, and it just went down in a handbasket. She wouldn't look at me.
Well, tell me how she did the
I
stabbing. I touched
the side of her face, and she just said, basically, F you, we gotta get this done. And I said, well, can you get up and help? That would be nice. And she rolled over, and then
can I see your hands real quick? Can you show me your hands? Just show me. I just want to see your hands. Just show me your hands like this. Just point them at me. Turn around. Okay.
Just got calluses.
If I was coming at you with a knife, wouldn't you try and stop the knife? I'm just curious.
With my forearms.
You wouldn't use your hands to try and stop it? The reason I'm asking is,
No, that would... I play the piano and the guitar. That would be...
Okay.
And IT, I've got to...
Okay.
It's an instinct.
I've been a police officer almost 13 years. And over 12 and a half years. And I've seen stabbing. Okay, let me finish. I've seen stabbing.
Yeah.
I've also seen plenty of people that are cutters that do superficial wounds that are not stabbing. And in my observation, those aren't stab wounds. Someone is not trying to stab you. Those are someone who's tried to slash, like superficial wounds that are trying to make it look like someone stabbed. I've seen stabbing.
The detective shifts again, this time to the injuries. He's no longer just questioning shooting. He's testing whether Amanda's wounds match a real knife attack, or whether they were exaggerated to support a false narrative.
Well, Amanda, you made some bad decisions tonight, okay? You shot at someone who was unarmed, fleeing from you, and you're trying to claim self-defense. It's not going to hold up. I'm just letting you know it's not self-defense.
That's not what I'm trying to say, and if that's the message that's coming across.
Well, you said that she was threatening you and raving. I mean, why else would you shoot her if it wasn't self-defense then? Why did you shoot her?
I'm an excellent shot.
Okay.
I wouldn't have shot her hip or grazed her hip if I wanted to shoot her.
Okay.
But that's what happened. I don't know how to undo what happened. What happened. So how can you explain that?
If you're an excellent shot, then why is there a shot that went through the neighbor's front door all the way through their whole house? You're saying if you're an excellent shot, then you must be saying you meant to fire that shot through their house. You meant to shoot around right through the middle of their front door? You just said you're an excellent shot.
No, this is getting out of hand.
Amanda.
I do want an attorney.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, if I can be honest and real with you guys.
Okay, well, I've explained to you what you're being charged with, right?
If you want an attorney, you don't have to say anything else.
Yep. But I've explained to you your charges. Okay, you will be arrested tonight. And you'll go to court in the morning. Okay, you'll have a first appearance within 24 hours, okay?
Can you please explain this to me?
We just did, Amanda. We did it for like an hour and a half. I mean,
I still don't get it. I mean, we've been fighting for a while, and
we'll be back in a minute.
And this is where the interrogation effectively ends. Once Amanda asks for an attorney, questioning stops. But by then, the detective has already done the key work. He's boxed her into contradictions she can no longer explain away. Amanda Butler was ultimately found guilty by a jury of attempted first-degree murder, shooting / throwing deadly missiles, and domestic aggravated assault. And on June 22, 2022, Judge London Kite sentenced her to 30 years in Florida State Prison. That outcome makes sense in light of the interrogation because the detectives' questioning focused on the exact issues that matter in a violent felony prosecution. Whether the shooting was truly self-defense, whether the victim was retreating, and whether Butler knowingly fired in a residential area. Once the evidence showed the bullet entered an occupied dwelling and her account failed to align with the ballistics, the legal risk became much more serious than a simple domestic dispute. In other words, the interrogation helped frame the case around intentional gun violence, lack of lawful justification, and extreme danger to others nearby, all of which would strongly support a conviction at trial and a lengthy prison sentence afterward.